So this, I think, as I've been told, is an unpublished John Burningham, or it's a spread from an unpublished John Burningham book. And what I really, really love about his work is the exploration, the joy in use of materials. So this image at first sight looks really simple, and it is really simple, but there's a whole range of different materials going on. You've got a sort of very, very loose veil of coloured pencil in the background. You've got one touch to express the whole growth of these sunflowers, you know, and the contrast between the open washiness of this and the squirrely, spirally dip pen line or fine liner pen for the hair. He's a master at mixing media. And I really feel passionately that illustration students should be encouraged to use materials playfully. You know, it's too easy this day to draw an outline and scan and fill it in on Photoshop, and you can never achieve the subtlety or the richness with the Photoshop filters. You're reducing from the minute that you click onto a computer. You know, this is alive and it's joyful, and the actual mark making, there's something going on between him and the actual paper and the materials, which is great. I love the way as well, you know, I don't know whether this is finished or not, but very often in a Burningham book, you'll go from a full colour, full media exploration to something that's pared down and just using, you know, one colour or a line. And the way that he's created those tempestuous looking storm clouds out of hatching is absolutely marvellous and really exciting. And also the way that he deals with the figures, you know, a child and a grandfather or a father, you know, he manages to sum up the character with such economy, it's terrifying. You know, I'm about to embark on a children's book where I've got to deal with figure drawing really for the first time. And I kind of feel John Burningham makes it look so simple, but actually it's quite a tricky thing, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they're probably 1970s, I would think, judging by the style of them. In the 60s, he used even more materials, and they were much more layered and thick and dense. But the similarities between the mark making in this to certain aspects of Mr. Gumpy's Outing, which is probably one of his most famous books. He also, in the 60s, did a wonderful book about a goose called Borka, and I'm sure this isn't Borka, but there's something, you know, obviously geese hold a special place in his heart because this looks like another rather wonderful, characterful goose. And again, the use of like the drawn marks and the painterly marks is really, really, really lovely, particularly if you look at the sort of the understatement of that tree in the distance, but when you look close, it's all worked with really fine cross-hatching. Yeah. Computers and the digital process is a wonderful formatting tool. I think to be individual and to stand out in the current, you know, the current market, or as an artist or illustrator, I feel like if you use physical, real materials in a rich way and use the computer to email them or to tweak them, that would be my advice, because I think there's so many people who are doing slick, quite sexy looking computer generated things, but I think it's harder, far harder to create something really substantial with a computer. Whereas if you're actually having some kind of physical interplay with a material, if you've got a crayon in your hand or a brush in your hand, you can get life and vigour far more easily, I think. So it's the way I work. I'm probably biased, but I think people are very, very quick to leap onto Photoshop, and I think illustration tutors are very, very, very quick to sort of say, you know, you need to be computer literate. Yes, you really do in this day and age, but, you know, don't forget what you can do with a pencil or a brush, because there's a directness about that that you'll never get with a mouse.